breaks in this town. And Donnie's talked about
some business. There's a lot of small business people, black, white, and otherwise, who do not get a break in this town. Nobody comes to them and says, "Sir, I know it's a tough year for you. You know, take a few dollars and we'll help you, give you a low-cost loan, or we'll give you a grant, or we'll help you." Some businesses get breaks in this town, just a handful.
Why doesn't somebody in this city, and I know I've talked to you and I've talked to Jack about the kids in this city,
Right?
Because
Councilman Brennan, City Council President.
And each of you have said, Charles, we need to bring these recreation centers back. We need to find something. Why isn't there a will, if you will, from the powers that are in charge and running to get it, if you will? That if you don't help these kids, these are your future voters.
They don't care.
Sure.
That's what I see, Councilman.
There's a tremendous amount of arrogance in this city, Charles. Tremendous amount of arrogance. In this case, if we're going to give public dollars to a project, and sometimes we have to, I don't think we should in this case, but sometimes we have to prime the punch, so to speak. But there should be an immediate give back to the community, the support the community. We gave an $88 million tax break to the same developer last year because he said that his project was near an impoverished community, which it's a fake. But you know, we're talking about Perkins Homes. We're talking about some of Old Town.
Was anybody twisting his arm?
We said, no, BDC would want to give away more money. So we said, if you're going to get this $88 million tax break, we want you to give some money to the residents and the children of Perkins Homes and some of the other impoverished areas not too far from your project. We want you to give money for after-school programs. We want you to build a recreational field. We want you to fund a good recreation program. Mr. Beatty, looking at me across the table, said, "I'm not giving them anything." And it is wrong of the city and our leadership to not hold folk more accountable. Even if you want to give to people who already have, we should extract something from them to give back to the citizens in need, especially our young people.
Let me just put a plug in. Special thank you again to A New Beginning Bail Bond. Do call Larry Gaines, 443-904-4247. Charles.
Councilman Stokes, you and I have been friends for a long time,
Yes.
and we've debated each other on political issues.
Sure.
One of the more interesting things that I keep coming back to is this whole idea of, is it about the downtown or is it about the neighborhoods? And sometimes, you know, I get that you got to do business where business is.
Sure, of course.
But what about the Northwoods? What about
That's right.
the Sandtown Winchesters?
Right.
What about the Walbrook Junctions?
Right.
You know, I just recently had a conversation with a guy who has a business in the city, and he told me that Walbrook Lumber, which has been at North Avenue for years, moved out to Cockeysville. That was kind of like the center of, if you wanted to build something on the west side of Baltimore, that's where you went to get lumber.
That's right.
Why isn't the city trying to save some of this work? I see what's going on in Compton, and I think that's a great thing.
Right, right.
But I hate to say it, you got to do more. How come the city fathers and sisters, if you will, can't see that? And I'm seeing that.
Right. Well, I think that if you look at this deal of $125 million, if you take $5 million of that, divide that into your $125 million and spread that around in neighborhoods across the city, you will have 10 times more impact than this will have. If you were to go into the neighborhood and build 500 new homes, for example, you clear land, build 500 new homes, and you had 500 new homeowners or market renters going into the neighborhood. So what do you do immediately? First, you got a new tax base that's happening of 500 families. What happens otherwise? Those families are paying income tax, piggyback tax to Baltimore City. What happens otherwise? New businesses must come into that community, whether it's a hair salon or a grocery store or whatever it may be. Businesses, small business would open up because you have another group of families and residents. What else happens? Safety comes to the neighborhood because you now have 500 new families owning their property, and they're not going to have any nonsense happening around them best they can. What else happens? Schools get better because now you've got homeowners, working people, putting their children in schools in the neighborhood, and they're going to be engaged in the education of their children. Long story short, spend few $1 million around the city, strengthening neighborhoods and strengthening opportunities for young people to continue to learn during school hours, to learn after school hours, to be involved in little league type of activity, to have STEM programs, to have music. I have a grandson who's just started City College, and he's in the marching band.
I'm so sorry.
He had to call me. I know. I understand. It's not
I like City. Don't worry about him.
But he had to. But we had to call me because we had to go out and buy drumsticks. We had to go out and buy the sling for him to put his marching drums on. I mean, this is crazy, isn't it? That the school couldn't even supply to the marching band the materials to be a part of the band. The kids have to bring their own equipment with them.
Hold that thought, because Donnie wants to ask you a question.